3, 2, 1. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast. Today is Thursday. It is March 4th, 2021. It is approximately 6:40 p.m. on a beautiful evening here in the 915 El Paso, Texas. As always, guys, co-host of the podcast, Mr. Misael, is with us. Misa, say what's up.
Yo, what it do?
For special guests today, guys, or special guest today for episode number 65, Mr. Giuliano La Puma is here with us. Mr. Jules, say what's up to the podcast, man.
What's going on, podcast? How are y'all?
Welcome, dude. Welcome to the pod.
Hey.
Nice spot in here. Good spot.
So we don't have a producer today, guys. We're going to handle the ship, or we're manning the ship by ourselves like me and Misa usually do. When we don't have a producer, but we do have a very special guest. Our boy Jules here is a DJ. He also does a lot of other things. He's actually coming to us live from Austin, Texas right now.
Hey, shout out, dude. We got a lot of people from Austin.
Right. This is actually the fourth Austinite that we've had on the podcast. We've had shout out Matt Rivera, shout out Krista Ayers, shout out my boy Steve Varela. They've all been coming on the podcast live from Austin, and now we add Jules to that collection. So Jules, for the podcast audience who might not know who you are, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell them a little bit about who you are.
Yeah, cool. Man, the fourth Austin person though, I also made that podium, just cool. But now it's a little bit about me. So as you know, I'm from El Paso. Moved here about 8 years ago. Kind of just to explore some different offerings that life might be able to have, but ultimately too, live musical capital of the world, live music capital of the world. I'm not here for my speeches, but
here, let's start that.
Basically came here to pursue music a little bit further, and so far it's going pretty well, man.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, me and Jules, we know each other from back in the day. We're going to get into that a little bit right now, but before we get into all that, guys, you know, there's a tradition that we have to abide by, and it's called the cracking of the celebratory beer.
Mine was pre-cracked.
And Jules is already pre-cracked because he already knew what to expect, but that tradition sounds a little like this.
Damn.
All right, guys. The beers are cracked and they're cold and frosty, so we're going to get this podcast going. So, yeah, guys, me and Jules, we known each other shit since, I remember there's a picture of us like on fucking Facebook at a party somewhere. I think it was at Tony Coronado's house. Shout out to Tony, by the way.
I think there's like at least like a third of people on El Paso that have a picture with you at a random party or something.
Right.
For all at Tony Coronado's house too, which is what's wild about it.
Yeah, that's funny. So one of the things that I noticed was funny about me and Jules is I was looking at our mutual friends on Facebook. We have like 135 mutual friends or some shit on Facebook. It's fucking crazy.
God. Jesus. Wait, when was the last time you guys saw each other?
Dude, I remember being at Jules's house like circa 2000, maybe like 10. And this was back when he was living right there in Kern Place. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that house was exciting. The Galloway house. I was there for like 3.5 years. I moved in when I was about 17, and naturally that was the Four Loko era.
Hey, Jesus.
The Four Loko era.
If only you guys had like cameras set up, like,
bro,
to catch everything.
If the walls in that house could talk, the stories they would tell.
I don't think phones had cameras back then.
Hey, so when you say Four Locos era, what do you mean by that? For the people who don't know what Four Locos are, go ahead and explain to them, Jules, what those are and what do you mean by the Four Loco era?
The Quattro Crazies, it was like a tall boy can of like battery acid and Red Bull, and one would make you black out, so everybody would knock out two of them just to be safe.
Man, dude, those Four Locos were something else, dude. They became illegal, didn't they? Or they still sell them?
No, I don't think they sell them anymore. But
they're just not as potent. I don't know. They took like the meth out or something. But
so they redid the recipe. They fixed it.
They had to correct it a little bit. I think they put like a couple teaspoons of water to dilute it a bit. But it's still on the show.
All right. So what do you remember about being at these parties where people would ingest like large amounts of Four Locos? Like what's the craziest shit you remember seeing?
I mean, I know the memories I have for those. The first one that comes to mind is my brother, who I lived with, would never be happy with the parties. I always felt like he cleaned right before I threw a real big one. So it'd be like the last wipe on the counter, satisfaction. I worked all day, the house is clean, and then like boom, kegs, people, DJs. It was wild. We used to keep I remember being 18, we used to keep a keg for like the VIP, like at 3 o'clock, people would all throw in $5 and we tried kicking out, we would kick out, hey, my neighbor's just called, everyone has to go. And we tell the VIP people, that's fine, we'll their keg. And we had this random group once who, they kind of got pretty pissed off about it. And they're like, I paid my $5, like we did our part. Like you can't close down on us. And they all busted out like knives and weapons. It was like 8 of them. And they're like outside my side door demanding to get the house owner out. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, but it was cool because like I have a lot of little pools of friends who may not directly know each other, at least they didn't at that time. And they all kind of bridged together. Like they all like defended the castle. Like everyone came out as a bunch of them. Like people I had to like helping each other who I knew did not have a connection with, but it was like that was like the glue was like that party when we had to take out some of the trash. And it got a little feisty. A bunch of cops came, and I hope my grandma's not watching this, but the cops came. They all had like weapons, like shields, like stormed the house, and they're like, "What's going on?" We're like, this is my driveway. Those people are like bad guys. We're good guys. We're Avengers, and they're basically anything in DC. And
dude, I was about to say, man, you this could be made into a movie.
Oh, yeah.
The Four Locos night.
Well, actually, what's that movie called? Project X. That was shot at Jules's house.
Yeah, it was a Dateline reenactment of that night. But
oh god.
But it was a lot of cool memories. I got to meet a lot of cool people. Yeah, I was there for about 3.5 years, predominantly with just me and my older brother, Mark. But
yeah, and it was funny what he said right now. I don't know if you caught it, Misa, but he's like, I hope my grandma's not watching right now. And I can assure you, Jules, I'm sure she's a very nice lady, but your grandma's not going to watch this. I don't think.
I think so, dude. A lot of people watch this.
Unless she spends a lot of time on YouTube. You never know.
My grandma watches it.
Yeah.
Your grandma watches the podcast?
She just doesn't understand English, so I'm good.
Episode 72.
That's what's up, dude. So another reason why we wanted to bring you on here, and shout out to you for taking time out of your day to join us here on the podcast, spend some time with us and chat it up and have a beer with us. So thank you for that, for being here. One of the things that is very interesting about yourself is that you are a DJ still, and you've been DJing ever since I can fucking remember. So tell us a little bit about how you got into that. Like, where did you start, and like, what was it like where did the passion for DJing come from?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. So I've been DJing over, I guess, a decade. I'm not fully positive, but well, shit. I don't know if you remember this. I was actually expelled from Coronado for a year for a bit,
right.
And so I had like just gone. I saw my first show. I just saw like Mark Farina play at Club 101, and I was like, wow, this is like what is this place? And it was like the energy was there. And I remember I was with 2 friends, and I remember just like standing in awe. And one was like, bro, you gotta dance. And I was like, and he was like, you know how to dance, right? And I was just like, I didn't. I fucking did it. He was like, just kind of sway a little bit, like don't be weird. And I was able to sway at least. I got that part, checked that one. And but just that environment was just so like welcoming and like exciting and just so underground. And so when I got expelled, we were on this basic. I went to this alternative school, Raymond Tejas.
Shout out Raymond Tejas.
Hey, real fast before you go with your story. I got 2 questions for you.
Go for it.
So you're telling us that you learned to dance at Club 101?
The old 101.
The old Club 101?
Where it was like next to Utah.
Yeah. Okay.
101.1.
That's beautiful. They were teaching people life lessons, guys. They're not open anymore, but Club 101 at one point was teaching people like Jules how to dance, which is a very valuable skill in life. You got to know how to dance.
Wiggle into a jiggle, you know? But it was bad.
Okay, second question really fast. Can you tell us briefly why you got expelled from Coronado?
Yeah, I guess my short-term goals didn't necessarily align with the interests of the PTA and those a part of Coronado.
Great answer. Great answer.
So I don't know. I'm not aggressive. I was aggressive back then, but I basically I got like caught with weed. I was on the football team and I like went and smoked at a buddy's house after practice once, and then that buddy turned out not to be a buddy, and he like ratted me out. So the next day they like pulled me out of class. I didn't realize he was an informant.
Damn.
And, so yeah, so I remember I got like arrested, and they pulled me. I leave whoever vice principal was. I was only there for a year.
Yeah,
They
fuck that.
pulled
Who doesn't matter.
Yeah, but they pulled me out, and then the bell rings, and so all of Coronado's like coming up. I'm just wiggle like at 101, just wiggle at 101. And so they,
Everybody looked at him like that McLovin in that movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Super bad.
like none of y'all are safe. And so so I went to Raymond Tejas, and it's funny that you asked why I got expelled, because I did eventually come back a year later. They had to, as I needed one fine arts credit, which they didn't offer at Raymond Tejas, so they can't barricade me from graduating. So when I came back, I heard like I had like all these weird looks and stuff, and I would hear some of the stories people like thought that I did, and I was totally cool with it. I was like, hell yeah, that was me. Yeah, they were, but
Yeah, I killed someone.
Yeah, you just fucking like bought into it. You're like, hey, that was me, bro. I did that. Yes, I did that. That is true.
they're even talking to me. That takes balls.
All right. So you go to Club 101, you get in this crazy environment where you realize, hey, fucking all this like music and live like dancing, all this shit is cool to you, right? And then you decide at some point that you want to be a DJ yourself, right?
Right. I mean, it was still all discovery. So at Raven Tejas, you have your computer. You don't really have a teacher. You have like an armed guard, like babysitter essentially. You have like a glorified babysitter who basically watches. I gotta choose my words carefully here, as I don't want anyone coming after me for this. But I was just like I was the vulnerable one, you know. I didn't have street cred at fucking Raven Tejas. So I like put on my headphones. You got to work on your computer. We all had proxies, and like while kids were out like literally dance battling and fighting goddamn every fucking week, I was just like proxy listening to Dave Matthews and, you know, like Blink-182 and all that shit. And then I was like couldn't stop thinking about that show, and so I started looking up like Benny Benassi, Tiesto, you know, like Mandy, like different artists, and I was like, this is like, fuck, I get it. All right, I get this now. Like, this is rad. And I wanted more, and so I kept trying to figure out, well, what can I do? Like, how can I do this? And I eventually became very good friends with this guy Scott, who had his own quote unquote decks, and I say quotations because you could look at them; they were so old and beat up, you couldn't really tell. Like, you could DJ off of those things, but I would go over to his house, we'd play for like 15 hours. I had a little couch behind the decks, and we'd take 30-minute churns, just mixing terribly for each other, just trying to get the swing of it. And eventually, I was good enough where I don't think people in El Paso really fully understood what like a good DJ and a bad DJ was. So as long as you're able to like put music out, they're like, oh, dude, fire, so good. Yeah, For Loco. And I got to the point where I played like my buddy Felipe's party, and one of the guys from SMG events, if you're familiar, right, came up. I actually played 3 songs and a fight broke out. But just in those 3 songs, I had my friend base come get in front of the decks, and he saw that and came up and was like, hey, I know you're probably not ready in any way, shape, or form, but do you want to play a show? And it kind of like, it all went down, it all just picked up from there.
Jesus.
Nice, dude. And I remember because like I remember, and this was when me and Sam, and I think you know Sam, right? Sam, yeah. We know a lot of the same people, but this was when me and Sam were doing some of our early rap work, and this is when we were going by the name of Fat People back in the day. And I remember reaching out to you like and going to your house, and like we were trying to make like a beat. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, 100%.
What do you remember about those times?
How was the beat? Was it a good beat? Were you thinking like, yo, get the
I don't
fuck
even
outta
remember
here?
the beat. I don't even know how far we got into the process. But I think it just ended up me being at Jules's house, and we just ended up like drinking and chilling.
Four Locos.
Like, yeah, it was like we went to work and then we did it. We just worked on this. Really.
Hard.
But what do you remember about that?
I was thinking about that actually recently. Yeah, so then like I started mixing music, but then the end game, of course, is to like make your own. You don't want to just do show and tell all the day. You want to be like, I made this from nothing. And so I was experimenting with a bunch of stuff. Been friends with Sam since like 6th grade. So you told me you guys wanted to work on a beat, and I said I could try. I'll mess around. I'm able to. Let's see what we could figure out. And yeah, like you said, I remember having a shitty beat, and then you guys would kind of take turns seeing what you could work with. And you guys were probably able to do much more than what I was being able to put out. But it's just on that discovery process. Like,
You don't remember anything, Chris?
Yeah, I remember like going there and like it's kind of weird because like we work with different people, but at the same time, like it was more like we just went there and just were hanging out, and like we just like the music kind of almost took like a back seat in a way because we were just having such a good time just chilling, like just hanging out with each other.
It happens a lot, dude. It happens here.
Yeah, it happens here all the time too. And it's just funny because I didn't know if Jules remembered something like that, because that stood out in my mind, because I think I was telling my girlfriend, Lena, when I connected with you through Facebook Messenger. And I remember when I went to go message you, we had messages from like 2010 back in the day. And it was like, yo, something about like, how did that sound or some shit? Like, it was just so crazy. Like to look back and know that Messenger has kept record of us talking since 2010.
So he's one of those 10-year guys.
Yeah. There's a running theme on the podcast where I brought in people on that I haven't spoken to them literally in like, or seen them literally in almost like 10 years. And you would fall into that category in that way.
Nice. So when you say that, like it had like the 10 years of mess. I just watched, I put on Snowden to fall asleep last night. Have you guys have seen that yet?
Yeah, I have, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, he was looking at those beats too 10 years ago, seeing all our Four Loko stories, but pretty rad.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. It's fucking nuts. So then eventually, like, what made you move out to Austin? Because I know you were here, and I think you were here maybe like 2010, 2011, maybe the latest. But I know you left. But like, what made you like make that change?
So kind of crazy. A lot of my stories are crazy, but I was doing really well with music. I was really happy. Loved El Paso. Had no qualms. Nothing wrong with it. It was like working very, very well for me and my music. And then I had actually just broken up with my girlfriend, and so she was going to move to Austin kind of to get away, because I mean we all know like El Paso is very small community, and like and like if that's not bad enough, if you're on like the west side or something, you're like even more segregated to like a very limited amount of places you could go when you're not 21 or when you are 21. And so I eventually she was going to move to kind of get away from me. And about a week and a half before she moved, she hit me up late at night. I'm just like, hey, I'm moving to Austin. Could I say goodbye, kind of thing? And I was like, yeah, whatever. And we kicked it like platonically. And then she was like, well, could we just like be like normal for like a week and a half? And I was like, yeah, sure. Like, where could this possibly, like, what could possibly go wrong from here? And then like 2.5 weeks later, I was in Austin. I was like, what the hell? And so that week and a half
woke up and he's like, oh shit, I'm still here. Holy
bro, you get back to normal for a week and it changed your fucking life.
Yeah, I was like, well, it was a good normal week. But yeah, so we kicked it hard, and then at this point I had moved away from that house to a house on Cincinnati, which is my brother, and awesome house, but yeah, so she was moving, and then she said, like, screw it, like, I wish you could come with me. And I said, fuck it, I will. And so in like less than a week, I like sold as much stuff as I could, got rid of stuff, threw my brother some cash, excuse me, and then and I packed up a car and my dog, and like we put like my clothes, my music equipment, and my dog, and like my can-do attitude, and like all of us together went to Austin, and it was fucking mind-blowing. I was like the first couple of days I was like, sick, I'm back with my girlfriend. And then like a couple of days after that I was like, yo, like, where the hell is there a Wendy's here? I was like, I can't, like, where am I? Like, I'm not in Kansas anymore. Like, fuck.
Bro, I love
so I moved in with my ex-girlfriend.
Right.
And that ultimately.
Yeah, hold on. I want to ask you about how that ended, but hold on. I like what you said. I like what you said. Me, I got in the car with my dog, my music equipment, my clothes, and my can-do attitude.
And then he had a space for it too. He's like, yeah, my can-do attitude.
He was riding shotgun the whole time. In the shotgun seat was can-do attitude. The best fucking person to ride shotgun.
Oh, so on that trip, even to my buddy, you remember Nick Johns?
Yeah, Nick Johns, dude. Shout out to Nick, dude. Fucking Nick, I haven't seen that guy in forever.
10 years.
And like, yeah, and it's crazy because, dude.
So 3.
Bro, Nick looks good. I see him fucking working out all crazy. Like, he looks good. He looks happy. Like, shout out to him. I remember fucking being friends with him like since we were probably sophomores. Like,
shout out to him.
But yeah, shout out to you, Nick Johns. Hopefully you'll listen to this. But you just got a triple horn. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page. Anyways.
So we borrowed my dad's truck to like bring stuff. And it was like me, him, my buddy Josh Stokes, and we drive. We're driving like. Do you remember the G2 brunches that they used to do? We pick up one of my buddy was supposed to drive with us, and he ends up getting blacked out drunk at the G2 brunch. So we're like, dude, we're supposed to go to Austin. Like, this is my send off. Like, what the hell? And he was like, fuck it, pick me up. Just pick me up. I'll get in the car and I'll go. We're like, really? He's like, yeah. So his drunk ass squeezes in. We have so much stuff in the truck that we're like, the seats are leaned forward, and it's 3 of us in a truck and a dog. And we're like driving, and my friend's like throwing up throughout the trip. It's like wasted. And we're driving at like at 2-3 in the morning. G2 brunches were Sundays. So this is like 2 or 3 in the morning on a Monday. Nick goes, fuck. Oh, sure, this will be great. Yeah, what's going on, Nick? He was like, we're about to run out of gas. And I'm like, shut up, bro. I was like, really? He was all, yeah. He goes, and then we ran out of gas right there. It was like perfectly timed. Like, he knew that my dad had like 30 more feet of gas when he said that line. And so we actually
he should have known when it was like 30 miles or something. But
he was like, I thought I could make it to the next gas station, and so I'm pissed. I'm furious at this point. I told Josh, I'm like, your drunk ass waits in the car. All of my life is in here right now with you. me, Nick, and Dog are gonna go walk to a gas station, and we'll just see what happens. But we ended up walking for like an hour, and like we have no hope for anything. And finally, this truck driver comes and pulls over, and he was just like, get your asses in here.
Oh, dude, that's kind of sketchy though. No?
I'm like, whoa, all right. So if we have to do it, we have to do it. Sorry, dog. This is Europe. And,
the dog is the sacrificial fucking lamb in this situation, if need be.
Cash, or dog. And, so he drives us 30 miles, and that gas station's closed. Drives us another 15 miles, that gas station's closed. Finally, like another few miles, and we get one. And I like call Josh. I'm all, dude, you won't believe it. A truck driver gave us a ride. Oh, thank God. He's like, bro, you won't believe it. I'm driving some lady's car. And I'm like, what the?
What?
What? And I'm like, what do you mean? He was like, some lady stopped to check on the car, and she said, she'll give me a ride, but I have to drive because she feels safer like that. And I was like, you're drunk ass, dude. What the hell? Like, all right, whatever.
You had left him passed out in the truck, right? He was just
I
passing.
mean, he knew we were leaving him. Yeah, we were like, hey, like, we'll be back. We're gonna check out this after hours real quick. And so yeah, so the truck driver waited for him to get there, and then was like, honestly, I'll give you guys a ride back. He was like, it's like another hour that way. We're like, dude, are you sure? It was all 3 dudes and a dog, and no one's picking you guys up. I was like, all right, his name's Hector. I won't ever forget that guy. But we tried giving him gas. He was like, I'm just putting out good karma. You know, this way I like to think maybe like I'll have a safer travel on this journey. I'm going to Washington to Houston from Washington.
Dude, shout out to Hector.
Yeah.
Shout out to Hector.
Hector, where you are.
I know he's listening.
But,
Dude, okay, so the thing I take away from that story is, what would have happened if that fucker never pulled over? You guys would have walked for fucking days, bro.
I was already like eyeing my dog to eat. I was like, okay, all right. It was like, it's been like 45 minutes.
Dude, what if you guys would have gone back and then your buddy was not there?
Well, my worry was when he told me he left, I was like, bro, it's like 3 a.m. on a Monday. How easy for any car to, I mean, like I learned a saying when I was young. It's like a lock only stops an honest person, but there was like shit in the tailgate and in our back seat. I was like, I have my music equipment there. If I don't have that, like like take my socks, but like leave me my CDs. Like
take my socks.
Take my socks. That one's lucky. I want that one. That one you don't want,
but that's a crazy ass
crusty ass socks. I don't wear them, but I use them.
Yeah, crazy ass story, because I've seen like when you go on road trips and you see people that are like stranded on the side of the road, you're like, I wonder whoever helps those people. I'm not going to, but somebody like is going to, like,
Chris,
you know
Chris is the type of guy that like he'll pull over and be like, I hope somebody else helps you, and then like have a good day, and then he'll just take off.
Dude, pray for you.
Right. Safe travels.
But it's crazy that trucker fucking like had all that time to just help you guys out. Like, that guy saved your fucking life in that moment, bro. That's fucking wild.
Yeah, it was so awkward of a while. Like, Nick felt like shit because he ran out of gas on his drive, and so I was just like walking my little schnauzer, not talking to him. You're just like, oh, I'm so sorry, bro. And like I just like wasn't having it. Even when we got back, I was like, I'm driving the rest of the way, like whatever. And it sucked. It was like he jumped in that car to like help me move as a bro, like to a new city, and then like not even there yet. I'm just like, don't talk to me, man. Like,
they really
drink your lemon lime Gatorade, have a talkie, but don't talk to me.
You made me and my dog walk and go inside a stranger's truck.
It really tested the bond of the bro man, the broship. You know what I mean?
No, I gotta ask, dude. Was this truck driver like super sketchy or no? Did he look sketchy? Was he that type of?
Like he did freak me out a little bit, the way he would like drive with his elbows and rub his eyes like he was really tired. But I was also like hey, as far as he could get us, I guess.
He's driving with his elbows.
Dude, I was like, he was driving from Washington, and I mean, ultimately he was the better driver than we were that day. So.
Well, I hope Hector made it.
Yeah.
He's delivering a load somewhere right now.
He's probably retired by now, dude.
All right, dude. So
probably won the lottery after helping this dude out.
Yeah, that good karma came back.
Yeah, dude. He stopped at the same gas station and bought a lotto ticket.
Hey, dude. So when the crazy like winter weather hit Austin, how did you guys like handle that? Did you get affected by that at all?
Big time. I still don't have hot water in my house other than my shower, which just got back like 5 days ago. But, I knew there was a storm coming, and I was like watching TV. I'm up late, and they were like anticipating blackout. So I was just like on my phone, whatever. I was about to put on a movie. Everything turns off. I just go, whatever, like no biggie. I'm sure it'll be back. He's like, an hour goes by, and I'm like, I killed a lot of phone battery waiting. And it's like, all right, whatever. And go to bed, wake up, and like, freezing cold with my dog, and still no power. And so I worked from home, and so I was like, well, I don't have Wi-Fi either. So I was like, all right, I better reach out to my boss. And we didn't have cell phone service either. Cell phone service was down for a few hours also. So we just stayed off the grid, and I set alarms for 45 minutes and kept snoozing 45 minutes, thinking any moment I'll wake up and I'll be back on. But every time I woke up, it was just colder.
How long did you go?
I didn't have power for, I think, 5 days. And then even when I did get my water back on, I poured it, and I had bottled water. I would pour it, and you would just see like debris in it. Like it didn't look like, and yeah, I grew up drinking from the hose in El Paso as a kid. I had some funky water, but this was like the Sani level water.
You know what? I've always said this, and we talked about it a few podcasts ago. And El Paso water is extremely clean.
Yeah, compared to other places. Yeah. Other places have really, really hard water, and like it's to the point where they'll even tell you like you got to boil this shit before you even think about drinking it. But it's crazy. Like you got impacted like severely by that fucking storm. Over here in EP, everything was kind of mild. I mean, it got cold, it snowed, people freaked out, 100 accidents in one day, typical EP shit, you know? But fucking, like, I didn't know, like, I saw other people that had dealt with it, like my cousin Nick, shout out to Nick, he fucking lost power too. But it seems like you had it pretty hard. You were 5 days without power. So, like, did you start doing anything that was, like, innovative to try to, like, fucking make your life easier? Like, I saw people, like, boiling the snow so they could use it to flush their toilets and shit.
Yeah. So I fortunately had a buddy who lives about half a mile from me, who also was the same situation as me, but we had another buddy like a mile from him. And so that buddy picked me up. Buddy A picked me up, took me buddy B, but and we would just check on the house every day. But we had about probably like 6 or 7 of us without utilities, just all bunkered up at in this guy's living room, and it was fun, and we had a lot of fun. But then I'd wake up at like 8 o'clock, and there'd be a bunch of people around me, and I'm trying to like work remotely, voluntarily. I just didn't want to miss work. But it was wild because while I was working, they went to HEB to get groceries, and they had a 2.5-hour wait to go inside like an empty grocery store. And then all the gas stations ran out of gas. There was lines of cars just on the side of the road where they couldn't make it up the hill. We went to get some more My Supplies the first night, and there was just entire sections of the city completely out. And there was like extra cop patrol making sure people weren't breaking into abandoned houses. So it was pretty wild. On Friday, I finally went back home. I had my power running and I wanted to. I'm on the second floor. I filled my bathtub up with melted snow, filled as many pots and pans as I could. Took about an hour up and down these stairs, and then my water came back on like an hour later.
Right when it got to an extreme where he had to go get some snow. God was like, let there be light.
Let there be water.
And water.
I like to think the maintenance man was like watching me, and once he saw that I stopped going outside, he just like flipped the switch up.
He's gonna have enough snow up there,
bro. It's funny because Misa works at Sutherland Park Mall at like as a maintenance guy. So this was your maintenance guy watching you, and he's like, "All right, motherfucker."
Yeah, actually, yesterday I had to go, and there's a major leak, so I had to shut off some water for some of the tenants upstairs. And my buddy got me a job there, so I was like, should we go let them know that they have no water? He's like, nah, dude, you don't want to mess with that. Just wait until they call. And sure enough, this morning, they're like, hey, my water's off, blah, 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 blah. And I was, hey, maintenance knows, dude. Maintenance knows when to say something and when not to say something. I'm speaking from experience. Yeah.
Yeah, it
It was bad. And then I have a fireplace in my apartment, and my next door neighbor endured it every day. And so Friday when I come back, he was like, "Did you find somewhere nice to stay?" I was like, "Yeah, I was at my buddy's. I tried to get my fireplace to work, but the wood wouldn't light." He was like, "Oh, wish I had a fireplace. I just moved in my apartment." I'm like, "Oh, dude, you're right next door. How do you not have one? You're my next door neighbor."
That's how you know. That's how you know his rent is a little bit lower than yours each month.
That's when you know that you've made it, bro. When you got a fireplace in your apartment, shit.
That's funny, dude.
It's a real shame.
All right, so
I put a candle there.
we're coming up on the 36-minute mark. That shit flew by, actually.
Dude.
That shit flew fucking by. What we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk. Jesus Christ.
My bad, dude. Mic check.
Fucking,
Shout out
when we come back, what we'll do is we'll talk to Jules a little bit more about fucking DJing out there in Austin. We're going to do some thoughts on what's going on with the COVID. They opened up the state. Well, starting next week, the state will be open. We're going to do some local EP topics because our boy Jules is from EP. So we'll just
He wants to know what's up.
those. Misa's got shower thoughts. I got 5 random questions, and then we'll do the outro at the end. But this is 36 minutes in, so let's go ahead and take this break. Episode 65, Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast featuring our boy Jules. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and Apple Podcasts. Leave a rating and a review. We're going to take this break, and we will be right back.
Yo, what it do? Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast is sponsored by top quality and handcrafted products made by I Glass. I Glass products are blown here locally in the 915 and range in uses from pipes, pendants, jewelry, decorations, and even goddamn motherfucking hummingbirds and much, much more. So make sure you go and hit up our boy Aaron Lee at I Glass and tell him that your boys, Chris and Misa, sent you. All right. And you go and support a local Paso business motherfucking today. All right. Thanks.
All right, guys, we are back from break. Episode number 65 of Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook, like us on Instagram, Apple Podcasts, leave a rating and a review. Once again, guys, super big shout out to our boy Jules coming live from Austin, Texas today. Give him a triple horn, Misa. We really do appreciate you coming on and chilling with us and spending some time on the podcast today. So shout out to you. Let's get back into this podcast. We were talking a little bit about what you guys were going through with this winter storm that passed recently here in Texas. But I wanted to talk to you more about how DJing in Austin is compared to like the DJing you were doing in El Paso. Is that a major difference, or tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I feel El Paso, it's more embedded in the culture. Maybe that's just because we're so close to Juarez that it's just you could go to a casual sit down bar and still hear house. You could go eat brunch at Crave and they're playing house music at 10:30 in the morning, and it's just the norm. It's acceptable. It's accepted. Whereas here, it's the live music capital of the world, as I fumbled earlier. But it's not so much the electronic capital of anything. But so the crowd is a little bit different. A lot of the times people I don't think have as much of a appreciation of some of the genres or some of the styles, but it's more so hey, let's just go and party. Whereas I feel El Paso has maybe a better appreciation, but of course that's not a complete. That's not an absolute. I work with a team called Real Music Events, which is the big dog, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinion here. And they've definitely created a community where people go in and they're not there just get fucked up. They're actually there to go and appreciate the music, and that's kind of the same transition that I feel with me. I feel before when I was DJing in El Paso, a lot of it was hey, let's turn the speakers as loud as they can and let's party. Whereas now I want people to be no, let me let me tell you a story with my music. I want you to appreciate this, remember this, and I feel like that's absolutely where it's coming. And I feel like Austin's come a very, very far away because of that. There's more promo groups popping up. People, I think, are starting to get it a little bit more, but I think a big component also is there's so many new faces that come in for UT, and then summer hits, and then all of those faces go out, and you might get a completely new pool of faces the following year. So it's hard to really
to like keep
develop
up.
like an established community. Yeah.
That's
Right.
crazy, dude.
So tell us like how you got involved with the company Real Music Events. Like how did was that a partnership that you formed somehow, or was that just like through networking? Like how did you end up like
It was probably another Four Locals night. And then he woke up and I was like, oh, what?
I was like, hey, nah. So they were definitely way before me. When I first moved to Austin, my goal was like, all right, well, I need to reestablish myself in the music community. And so I added like 500 people on Facebook who I was finding event pages for shows that I would like to play or be a part of. And I was just adding people off of the friends or off of the attendees, because I was like, well, these people clearly are into the same music. I might as well add them. So if I put out a mix or put out a song, they're more likely, they're my target audience.
Right.
And I tried hard to get on Real Music when I first moved 2015, Crickets or whatever. And then who was I, to them, who was I? And finally did get on the team around 2015, worked with them for about a year. And I was trying to finish my biochemistry degree. And it's a lot of work being on that team back then, via like putting like flyers on cars, like meeting people after shows, like networking. And I told them, I was like, hey guys, I have to finish school. Like I don't want to just finish school. I want to finish it well. And I hadn't played a show with them yet, so I felt like I was pretty discouraged. And went ahead, I went and got my degree, and the day after, or the day of my graduation, one of the two owners, Andrew Parsons, reached out to me and asked if I wanted to be on it. I was a little skeptical. For one, it was my graduation day, so we hadn't slept the night before from all my friends in town partying. And so I was like, let me get some like coherence, and I'll make this decision. And he was like, all right, cool. And then like 2 hours later, he puts in our journal group, he was like, welcome back to the team, Giuliano La Puma. And I was like, oh wait, I wanted to think about, all right, well, whatever. And super thankful that he did, because they eventually they were like the first people to put me back on the stage here in Austin. And so they have my full loyalty. As well as it was the stage that if I was brand spanking new to town today, that's who I want to play with. Like these are the people I want to work with. Like integrity, they're professional, they bring all the acts that I like, and I'm able to play the styles that I want to play. I'm able to express myself as an artist, as me, and play my music and play show what I want to do, versus a lot of like the residencies I had in El Paso, where I was, whatever song I played, with the two beats in, I would get like a long fingernail tapping on my shoulder, being like, hey, you know what would really be good right now? I'm like, no, I'm not playing levels.
Yeah, I feel you on that, bro. So that's good. I'm glad to see that you found like a place in Austin and a home in the industry that you feel like has your back, or that you're working with people that are like-minded, who are doing kind of the same thing and liking the same type of music that you do. So that's what's up, dude. I really do I really do see that as a cool thing, because it's not easy to just get up and leave El Paso and go to Austin. Like that's a whole different community. And if you don't know anybody there, trying to implant yourself and make yourself known in the music world, like quote unquote, is not the easiest thing to do. And you've actually been able to do that. So that's really cool. So shout out to you for that. Give them a round of applause.
Yeah, when I had moved, I was with my ex-girlfriend. I was with her for like another 5.5 months. I don't want to spoil it, but it didn't work out.
Right. No, we can
but
tell right now. No, we can tell.
I mean, I knew right when you said ex-girlfriend.
like moving across the state with your ex-girlfriend, it's not like the wisest idea, but like I've made the most of it and I'm happy
Right.
with it.
Oh, yeah,
And we're good friends today. Like, you know, we're still cool. We're homies now.
What, 8 years later, you're still there?
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I think you made the right choice, bro.
Yeah, for real.
But
Well, so we broke up and I like moved out, or we were already broken up. I broke up squared. And so I was in my own apartment. I was like, I don't know anybody here. I have nothing. And so I found where Real Music was throwing their shows, and I was like, oh, I like all these shows. And I was like, I don't have to go to a bar and like have background noise. I could go to a show and just like have a drink and just focus on like, I don't have to, like, I'm not alone or anything. I'm just doing me. And eventually, after going to so many shows by myself every weekend, you were like, the community here is kind of it's like very intimate. So eventually, like, you see the same familiar faces, and then a very, very like uplifting community. And I was like, I know when I left El Paso, a lot of DJs and performers and different promos are like at each other's throats all the time. And like they could be petty at times, and that's probably not even the case anymore. But just in my experience, it was hard sometimes. Whereas here, it felt like, oh, everyone is just like-minded. They all moved here for like something new, something different. Yeah, they don't want to bring that negativity with them.
right. Oh yeah, dude. That's what's up. So let's transition a little bit away from the music and you DJing. But before we do that, like, the people that are interested in where they can follow you, where can they follow you on social media? Like, what's your Instagram handle? Where's your Facebook handle? Like, go ahead and tell the audience where they can follow you if you're interested in what you're doing on the music side of things.
So I had a lot of content on SoundCloud, and I took it off about 2 years ago because it's like a forever battle with music. Like, the more time elapses, the more I study, the more I practice, the better I get. And so you listen to old songs and go, I could do this so much better. Right. And so I took everything down just so I could remaster it more professionally and re-release it all on an album. And so I still do have my SoundCloud at Santino, which is my DJ name. It's my middle name too. It was my middle name first. And but you could also find me on Instagram. It's Giuliano.Santino. You can find me on Mixcloud on Santino. That's the best place to get my mixes. And I actually have a lot of stuff that's about to release off of SoundCloud too. But been working on all types of cool projects. I used to, so in El Paso, I was Midnight Response. When I moved, I kind of wanted to retire that. And I just wanted to go by my initials. So I went by G-La-P. And my first big show back, I was opening up for an artist called Monolink, and one of the stage managers came up, Alan Teagle, another El Pasoan, came up and was like, dude, yeah, you're doing great. Hey, what's your name? And I was all G-La-P. And he was like, spell that. And I was all G-L-A-P. And it was like, reads like Glap, bro. He's like, you got to change your name. And I was like, yeah, I guess I don't want to give any people that. And so I was like, well, fuck it. I still want my namesake. So I went with Santino, and it's almost been a year since I made that change, and it's been pretty successful so far.
Hey.
Hell yeah. Shout out to you, man. So for sure, guys, go follow our boy Jules. Check him out on SoundCloud, fucking Facebook, Instagram. Go support the people that support the podcast. But let's transition here. Obviously, you being out in Austin, Texas, the COVID situation might be a little bit different from what it is here in EP. But obviously, like, I'm sure you've heard the news. Fucking Greg Abbott, the governor, has decided to reopen the state of Texas to 100%. And this is going to take, in effect, the Wednesday after this podcast is going to be released. We're recording this on a Thursday. It'll be released on Sunday, and the opening is supposed to occur on Wednesday. So what are your thoughts on COVID in general, and then your thoughts on the state opening up?
I mean, COVID in general, yeah. I don't think it's just necessarily a flu. It might be to some, and that's great if it's a flu to some, as far as how that directly impacts them and their own health. But to at least over 500,000 people, it was a death sentence. And I lost my godmother. I lost a friend here in Austin, and so to them, it wasn't necessarily just a flu, and even, or at least a deadly one. But I feel there's like a form of like selfishness and not trying to do your part better. And I understand people want to have their freedom fries and all that good noise, but I don't feel like they're asking us to donate blood every week. I don't feel like they're asking us to like give part of our salary. They're not coming in and monitoring our apartment. Like all we're doing is like all they want is this. Super easy. And the same, like I could put my hat on and I could put a mask on in that exact same time. I don't know why there's such a like giant civil war about why you should not wear a mask. You should wear a mask.
Misa, what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that?
You know, it's a lot, like he said. You know, I mean, I've heard and I know people that are against masks and they want, and they think about the economy and how bad it's been, and I know some people that have lost their business because of it, and so for that, it's like it's understandable. I'm sure that this guy had a lot of pressure to open it 100%. But at the same time, it's like, like me, I'll still be wearing a mask, so at the same time, I'll be following it.
Right.
And I've heard, I think that's what I read earlier, that all city buildings, you have to wear a mask, right?
Right. So there's still going to be mandates. Obviously, like each business can operate under their own safety guidelines, kind of like the no shirt, no service thing. Like, so they can still do those types of fucking restrictions. But yeah, like I know like the federal buildings are still going to require mask mandates. A bunch of like the local government entities are doing the same thing. I know Albertsons, though. I don't know if you guys heard that. Albertsons, the grocery store here, said that they're not going to mandate masks in their store anymore. My dad actually works for Albertsons, so that's actually kind of crazy because they were like, yeah, we're good. Like the employees have to wear them, but the people coming in, the customers, they're good to go without a mask. And it was crazy because today, actually, before I got to the studio on my way here, I actually stopped at the 7-Eleven to grab some beer, and I walked into the store with no mask. I completely forgot. My mind was on a million different things. I was thinking about this podcast. I was wondering what time Misa was going to get here, wondering about the rundown. My mind was like on, like, I have 3 masks in my car. Like I have masks. But I was fucking thinking about a lot of other shit. So I walked in the store, I grabbed the beer, I got all the way to the register, and the guy was like, dude, why don't you have your mask on? And I felt bad. I was like, dude, honestly, like, I'm going to go get it. Like, I didn't mean to, like, and he was just like, bro, like, get the fuck out of here.
You know what's so funny is like, I never forget. And I forgot like 2 days ago, and I walked into a Circle K, and then I go get a coffee, and I'm putting on my coffee, and then like, I turn around and I see a guy with a mask, and I was like, oh shit, my mask. And then the guy that works there was like restocking some chips. And he's all like, yeah, I was going to say something, but honestly, I don't care. It's like you get these different kinds of, he's like, yeah, I was going to say something, but I don't really care, man. Yeah. But if you want some, there's some at the door right there for free.
Right.
Like, right.
Yeah. It's crazy to see all these viewpoints on how people are with wearing masks. I mean, I just think at this point, like, do what you got to do. If you don't want to wear a mask, don't fucking wear a mask.
If you don't want to go out, you don't have to go out.
Yeah, if you don't want to go out, don't go out. But also, like, respect the people that want to be safe and want to fucking take precautions. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, they're doing that on their own accord. It doesn't really affect how you live your life. So, it's just one of those debates with this whole thing where they got to make shit political. And
are you going to be wearing your mask, Chris?
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna wear my mask.
Seatbelts in cars were Democrats versus Republicans on should we wear a seatbelt when they first mandated that as a law? Probably like in the 80s, I imagine.
Yeah, dude.
Hey, we should bring that back. Thanks, bro. Write that down, Chris. Write it down.
Somebody write that down. Misa, write that down.
I'll write it down.
All right, so let's transition here We want to do some local segments here, or local stories here in this segment. These are stories that might be tied closely to El Paso or to the area. But we want to do this with Jules because he's from El Paso, so he can relate to some of these stories. So the first story we have, and I don't know if you guys have seen this. This happened like last week. There was a SUV that crashed into an 18-wheeler. This was outside of San Diego, so it's not technically local, but the way the story unfolds makes it a local issue. So what happened was there was an SUV, a Ford Expedition. And picture this in your head, guys. A Ford Expedition, not that big, sits about 8 people. It was crammed with 25 fucking people.
God bless.
And they got into a car accident on the highway with the semi, and 13 people died. And it turned out that most of the people in the car were being smuggled by human traffickers. And they had made it all the way into the U.S., and they died in this fucking tragic car accident. It's fucking crazy. Did you guys hear about that?
Yeah, I heard it, dude. I heard it. And I don't know, man. I have mixed emotions about, when we talk about like people crossing and stuff like that. But it's just a tragedy, man. It's just to think that these people, are trying to get over for whatever reason, and then they're already here, and then bam, that happens. But 25 people in an Explorer, dude, that's like a clown car.
Bro, it's ridiculous. Jules, did you hear about that?
I did, yeah. And same thing, both my grandmas are from Chihuahua. Like, I get, like, people seeking better lives. And, 25 in a car. I mean, we used to, like, do stuff like that, like, go into the wall, like, back in high school and stuff.
Right.
And, like, one person in the Jeep and stuff them in. But, I don't even, like, I have, like, no words for that.
Yeah, dude.
It's tragic.
It's definitely tragic, like you said. And it's sad because it really shows you the lengths that these people will go to just to get the chance to fucking have a better life. Just because you get here doesn't mean that your life is going to automatically be like grand and like everything's going to work out for you. You still have to do like your part. But imagine being in that fucking expedition and you're crammed. Like, imagine the way they were sitting everybody. There's 25 people. The only person that has to be comfortable in that situation is the driver. He's the most important part, the most important person in this equation at
Which
that point.
He passed away on that.
He ended up dying. But imagine what it looked like in the fucking expedition. Like, people were probably laying on top of each other. If they weren't laying on top of each other, they were crammed like into like the fucking fetal position. Like, just crammed anywhere in the fucking car they could fit.
And like, and for how long too? If they were, because you said it was around San Antonio, right?
It was outside of San Diego. They crossed at the port of entry that's at San Diego. I don't know it off the top of my head, but they crossed, and then outside of San Diego is when they collided with an 18-wheeler.
God bless.
And the 18-wheeler, the driver was like, he's the only guy who didn't get hurt really because he's sitting in a higher position. But, like, imagine what he was thinking when he sees there's 25 fucking people in this expedition. Like, God damn, what the fuck?
I think it was like as young as like 15 or 16-year-old or something.
It's sad.
That.
It's sad. So let's go to the next topic. And this is another one related to immigration, which is a big issue here in El Paso. Like, immigration here is like, it's on the ground. Like, it's a boots on the ground issue because we are accepting migrants that are coming in that now, since Biden is in charge, the immigration policies have changed. And now these migrants that are seeking asylum are allowed to come over and not have to stay in Mexico. And I don't know if you saw this, but when they were releasing these migrants, eventually they were COVID tested, and they tested a bunch of them, and 108 of them 108 of the migrants came out positive for COVID. I don't know if you saw that.
No,
did you guys see this?
No.
Yeah. So this
was 108 out of how many though?
Yeah, they tested a bunch. Obviously, they let in like a good amount, but
I think one thing that people also got to know is like when they say that they let them in, it's not like they just let them out free. They go to a certain facility.
Yeah,
they go somewhere.
They go to places that are going to provide them with shelter. They're not just roaming the streets.
Right.
But the thing is that they wanted to test them before they got into the fucking country.
Right.
So my thing is like, okay, when you brought them over here, you tested them. So you can see why it's not a good idea to keep these people detained in these facilities. because when you have something like COVID like floating around, you have a bunch of people getting infected. These people are already vulnerable. And now you're just like putting them in this little like fucking cage so that COVID can fucking like run rampant on them. Like that shit was crazy. And then people right away are fucking like already saying, oh, well, that's why they shouldn't let them in. And it's like, bro, it's not even about
And
that.
maybe it's just bad timing.
It's just bad timing.
Yeah, it's just
and
bad
like,
timing.
what are you going to do? Of course you're going to test them when you're bringing them in. Right.
And I mean, don't be surprised too if they come out, if someone will come out positive.
Somebody's going to come out positive. Yeah. You had them in a detention facility or like surrounded by a lot of people with no mask. Like, what did you think was going to happen?
Yeah.
Did you hear about that, Jules?
I didn't hear about that. Fuck ICE. I know that.
And he's not talking about the ice you put in your fucking drink. He's talking about the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency that is in charge of rounding up migrants or immigrants and deporting them. So that's what he's saying, right, Jules?
Fuck that ICE.
All right. So what were your thoughts on that?
Fuck, dude, it's hard, man. I think we got a lot of people here in the States where they're like, we don't want anybody in our country who's fleeing from, from their government. But then anytime we complain about our government, they tell us to leave. So it's like, how do you have it both ways?
Right.
Fuck, dude. I mean, COVID is just such a tricky spectrum of variables. I mean, yeah, I have no idea what to do on that.
Right.
Sure, the cards to do, I guess, but
yeah, COVID makes everything so complex. Like simple issues are now complex because of COVID. So, okay, last local story we'll get into, and this actually kind of can relate to where Jules is coming from. Jules, that house that we were talking about was in Kern Place, and I don't know if you guys saw this in the news about 2 days ago. There was some city workers that were in Kern Place, and what they were doing was they were tidying up like some of the sidewalks and like the weeds and stuff that were growing. And one of the homeowners outside or in Kern Place decided to open fire on the city workers because he thought they were burglars. You guys didn't hear about that?
No, what?
No, you guys.
It would happen in Kern Place,
bro.
So.
No, well, that's what's weird is you wouldn't think it would happen in Kern Place. Kern Place is like a more like affluent area of the city.
Yes, but it's the same people that have been living there since like the 40s or 50s.
Bro, imagine being a city worker.
They all complain about different shit.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Of course they're complaining about everything. So this guy was peeping out his window. He saw some guys that looked a little suspect, but they were in city clothes, like city like uniforms. And then he opened fucking fire on them, bro.
Did he hit anyone?
No, he didn't hit anyone. Luckily.
Dude, you see, so he was somebody from like the 50s or 40s.
Well, the guy was
shooting up in the air.
The guy was an older guy, but he shot directly at them.
What?
And then so he even got arrested, and he's like in jail on a $250,000.
Oh, he'll be out. He's probably already out.
But
if he lives in Kern Place, yeah, he's out.
Well, yeah, I mean, you would think so, right?
Was it his house? Like,
yeah, it was. They were outside his house.
Have they never? Oh, well.
But I guess, like, dude, like, I think you can tell, like, when somebody's like cleaning shit up compared to when, or like, opposed to when they're trying to break into your house.
Right, I mean, stealing my fucking grass clippings.
Is that guy?
Is that really a crime?
Is he stealing my grass?
Or is he doing me a favor?
Fuck it.
Yeah, dude. But imagine being those city workers. You're just chilling. You got your headphones on. You're listening to the Conversing with Chris and Misa podcast. You're sweeping some shit up. And then all you know is there's some fucking bah, bah, bah. They're shooting you with like an M16 and shit. Like, what the fuck?
Nah, dude. He probably had like a musket.
Dude, he had some sort of gun. But
like, took him 9 minutes to reload the second shot.
And then he had to take like 3 steps back and then 2 steps forward.
Pack in the gunpowder. He's like, okay, any second now. Pack it in. Dude, that's crazy. I thought I would bring that one up.
That's crazy. That was like 2 days ago.
Yeah, and especially this was in the area where Jules used to live and throw his parties.
The neighborhood's gone downhill since I left. I mean,
oh shit!
You guys are on guns now. All right.
Damn.
Okay. All right. Let's get ready.
They probably thought that person had COVID or something.
Yeah. So they shot at him.
Yeah. Keep that shit back.
Okay. Let's get ready to fucking wrap up the back end of the podcast here. Mr. Jules, we have a segment that we call Shower Thoughts, and we're going to do them with you. And what this segment is Misa goes into the shower and he gives us these thoughts that are elaborate and they're breathtaking. They might make you fall out of your chair depending on where you're sitting. But we're going to do that right now with you. So Misa's going to give you his thoughts, and after we're going to react to them. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and start our Thoughts from the Shower segment with Misa.
Yes.
Misa, take it away,
Let me
Misa.
get this water on right now.
You got warm water?
Hey, who invited this guy to the shower? Chris, close the fucking door. Anyways, damn, this water feels good. Hey, why does the word yellow end with W, but not the word hello? Hey, why is it that we mostly use our driver license to buy things that impair our ability to drive? Hey, why is it that no matter how much you chew a piece of corn, it always comes out whole? God, this water feels good.
All right. So now that we have Misa's shower thoughts here, let's go ahead and recap them. The first one is, why does the word yellow end with the W when it should end with hello?
No. I
Or
said, why
hello?
does the word yellow end with W, but not the word hello?
I don't get that one. I honestly don't. Why would it end with hello?
Dude,
Trying
are you
to
not
figure
listening to the question, Chris? It says, why does the word yellow end with the letter W, but not the word hello?
I don't get it. Jules, do you get that one?
I mean, I'm gonna say Adele, hello. That's just the first thing came to my mind. I was like, I'm gonna shout hello from the other. But
All right, let's go down to the next
I
one.
don't get that one at all. It doesn't make any sense. Yellow?
Hello. How does hello not end with a W like yellow?
I don't know.
that yells.
Yeah, that shit's going over my fucking head right now. Okay, so the second one. What was the second one, Misa?
Why is it that we mostly use our driver license?
To buy things that make us impaired to drive.
Yes.
Right. I think that's just, they want to test us. They want to see what we can do. They want to see
They just
how
want to
far.
know what we're
Yeah.
going to do.
They want to know our limits. They're like, can we sell them 2 beers or 1? That's
Actually, like,
pretty.
But what about when you buy a 30?
So if you're like you're drunk trying to buy beer at that point, you have like a range, like, well, this is what this guy looks sober when he took this picture. All right, I'll tell it to this dude. I've never had a driver's license, to be honest. I've never had one.
That's why you always make a weird face when you take your driver license.
Wait, hold on. You've never had a driver's license?
What?
What?
Was that the one? I use my passport, but
No. Okay, so hold on. Why didn't you ever get a driver's license?
Maybe he just doesn't drive, Chris.
yeah, I got that bad left eye. Like,
I like how the first response from Jules after you said maybe he doesn't drive, he's like, yeah. That shit was hilarious. He just clarified Misa's point. Okay. Last shower thought, Misa. What was the last one?
Well, this one was a little personal, but it's like, hey, why is it that no matter how much you chew a piece of corn, it always comes out full?
Okay. Jules, you got first take on that. Why is it that anytime you chew corn, it still comes out in your feces as a whole kernel of corn? Why is that?
I think that's just I mean, like corn pops, like corn nuts. Like I don't have any problems with popcorn. No problems with any of those corn. It's just corn itself. That's like, hey, I could have been so much more. Like, you get me raw? Like,
Dude, it'd be times where like I'm taking his shit and then I'm like, yo, what? I didn't eat corn? And it just trips him out. Where the fuck you come from?
I got this Derek picture. He could believe me. I'm like, yeah. But
Bro, fucking Jules, dude. The corn that you see in your poop after you eat corn is corn that wishes it was a corn nut or a popcorn or something.
Or something.
Yeah, it could have been so much more, and it haunts you that way. It's like it makes me see you.
I'm probably gonna stop eating corn from now on.
That's like, you better double flush.
Put it in a blender before.
All right,
Jesus.
let's do these 5 random questions and we'll wrap up the podcast. Episode 65, Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast, featuring friend Giuliano La Puma, Mr. AKA Jules. So are you ready for these 5 random questions, Jules?
is that random question number 1?
No, that's actually just the what is it? The prelogue or the prelogue, whatever the fucking.
Yeah, I'm so ready.
Okay, he's ready. Misa, are you ready for 5 random questions? Okay, Misa, hit the sounder for 5 random questions.
Oh. That's right, guys. It is time for the 5 random questions here at Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast, hosted by your boy, Chris Marcus.
What's up, guys? We are back with another round of 5 random questions. Today, we are featuring friend of the podcast, Mr. Giuliano La Puma. I was running out of oxygen there, guys. Sorry. Okay. Okay, let's get into these random questions. Question number 1, Mr. Jules. What is a holiday that doesn't exist that you would invent?
I would make a rival Halloween on Valentine's Day. The spring Halloween. Springween.
Hey, that's a good one.
Hey.
Misa, would you make up a holiday?
Yeah, dude, probably. I was just thinking like probably like a Harry Potter holiday.
Harry Potter?
Yes.
Fuck
Like
Harry
like
Potter.
just one night you just hang out with your friends and go bar hopping dressed as Harry Potter.
Okay. What would you call
You
it?
can also do that on my holiday too if you want.
That's true. That's true.
Or I was actually thinking like chicken pot pies day holiday. Like my 3 favorite things.
Chicken pot and pie
Yeah.
all in one day.
Yes. All day. That'd be my favorite. I think that one.
Bro, I would make a national chicken sandwich day. How about that?
Hey.
There you go. Okay, question number 2.
What does always have to be food with you, dude? Damn.
Dude, look at me. What do you mean? Why does it always? Come on, get out of here.
I just picked chicken pot pies and I'm giving you shit.
You pick chicken, pot, and pies. Okay.
Yeah.
Question number 2, Mr. Jules. In one sentence, how would you sum up the internet?
I like to get really weird.
Do it.
That would be my summary.
Just that right there. They're talking about the internet. Shit gets weird out here.
You are one pathetic loser.
Misa, how would you sum up the internet in one word?
One word?
Or in one sentence?
A crazy world.
A crazy world. I'll put the funniest shit you'll ever see in your life is on the internet. How about that?
What about like anything and everything?
Yeah, anything and everything you can find here.
Yeah.
Sponsored by the internet. Wow.
And Conversing with Chris and Music, the podcast, hosted by your boy Chris Marcus.
Question number 3, Mr. Jules here. What is your favorite cartoon, new or old?
Oh man, that's a tough one.
Mine is Scooby Doo by far.
Scooby Doo by far.
The original, the OG Scooby.
Yeah,
The Shaggy looked like a fucking stoner.
Damn.
Oh man, I mean, Avatar is always up there. You know, we all like.
Oh
Aang.
yes, yes, yes.
Which one was that?
You know, shout out to Goku. You know, SpongeBob. He's an OG. He didn't realize how freaky deaky that guy was, so I got a little bit older, and I was like, hell yeah, SpongeBob, word. Yeah.
I relate with like Squidward every day.
That's hilarious. All right, so you would say your very favorite was Avatar?
That's a good one.
Yeah, but yeah, let's just go with that one. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We'll roll it.
Yeah, mine was Scooby Doo. Misa, what was yours?
Oh man, I don't know, dude. I had so many. I had like
Yeah. Real serious drinking problem.
like Rocket Power. I love the Courage the Cowardly Dog a lot.
You look like Courage the Cowardly Dog, by the way. Especially with that bandana on.
You guys Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network people?
Nick.
Yeah, Nickelodeon was good, but there's a few like Johnny Bravo was pretty good.
Dexter's Lab.
Yeah. Pinky and the Brain.
Nickelodeon though, for sure.
Yeah.
Hey Arnold, Rugrats,
Looney
Rocket
Tunes.
Power,
Yeah.
Doug. That's an all-star lineup.
Yeah.
Okay, question number 4. Play the sounder, Misa. Jules, I want to know for question number 4, is bottled water the same as top water?
No.
No.
Yeah, different waters and different tap waters. We were just talking about, I don't know.
Okay.
Dude, they just got their water back, bro. Chill. He's asking them questions
Happy to have
about water.
water.
It's like they've been melting ice, snow for a long
I guess
time.
that was an insensitive question.
Nah, definitely bottled water is substantially better, but like you shouldn't drink bottled water casually. I don't know, kind of dick
Hey,
move, you
tap
know?
water will make you live longer.
Dude, that question's the ultimate test. That question's the ultimate test. Like, how much do you want to fuck up the environment? Do you want to fuck it up and drink nothing but water bottles all the time? Or do you want to drink shitty water?
Is the environment gonna go through shits while I'm alive? That's a real question.
It's a real moody environment.
Yeah.
All right, last question. Question number 5. And this is a special one because I know that you're into music. You like to DJ. Jesus Christ.
Sorry, my bad.
Ruining the last fucking question.
Sorry.
Fuck.
Mic check.
Looking for a new co-host over here at Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast. Anyways, question number 5, Mr. Jules, because you are a music head, I just want to know who your favorite music artist of all time is.
Ooh.
Man, that's hard because different music's tied with like different emotions, and so if you're trying to like, I don't know, let's just say you're sad, you could channel. We all have like our sad artists are able to like really amplify the emotions that we're already experiencing. But then like I've always felt music's in a way to like time travel. Like if we put on like a Taking Back Sunday song or something, you're like, oh, this brings me back to freshman year, and all of that comes rushing back to you. And so it's kind of a tricky question. If I had like a go-to always safe artist for me, Polo and Pan is always spot on. If we're looking like throwbacks, I was like a massive Modest Mouse fan.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
But like that's like say like, I don't know, like what's your favorite food? And it's like, I love this food. I could eat it all the fucking time, but I love so many other foods.
Right.
I like
Right.
It's a dumb question, Chris.
Hey, dude, you know what?
Jesus.
No. That's not
I'm
a
just
dumb
kidding.
question.
I'm
That's a
just
good
kidding,
question. But you know what I did? Speaking about Modest Mouse, I backed my car up into a cop car the day.
karaoke segment time.
Yeah. A lot of Boston fucking lyrics, but
God.
you guys get it. But Misa, your all-time favorite one artist.
God, if I had to pick one that I could listen to forever and ever, it'd go with the Black Keys.
Right. I'm going Blink-182. That's easy for me. That's easy. That's easy. This is easy. Easy. I guess.
Okay, Taylor Swift. Love her over here.
Hey, I like Taylor Swift too. I fuck with her too.
I know, dude.
She's got
I'm giving you
she's
shit.
got good albums. Check out the Red album. You won't be disappointed.
I know you're watching, Taylor.
Oh shit. Okay, guys, let's get ready to wrap up this podcast here. Episode 65. Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, Misa does this Misa Eats segment or a live stream thing that he does on Facebook. We might switch it to YouTube. That comes out on Wednesdays. It's a new thing where people can send the weirdest shit that they eat to Misa, and he'll try it on the live stream. So if you guys want to, send Misa a message. But Misa's Eats on Wednesdays. But yeah, other than that, follow us on Facebook, like us on Instagram, Apple Podcasts, rate and review. With all that being said, guys, let's go around the Zoom and we'll give our final thoughts. Misa, final thoughts on today's episode?
Yes. I just want to say thanks, bro. Thanks, La Puma, for giving us your time. Chris, always a good one. Guys, everybody listening, check this guy out. I can't wait to check out your music. Hopefully you could come back to El Paso, throw a big show, and have me and Chris up on stage, and I don't know, we'll flash everybody or something. I don't know, but
I always need go-go.
Hey, there you go.
There you go.
So everybody listening, guys, thank you so much for the support. Everybody be safe and stay fresh.
Mr. Jules, final thoughts on today's podcast.
Final thought. I thought this was super fun, of course. Always good to talk El Paso, talk shop. You know, it's been 10 years as Facebook has told us. But dude, yeah, rad, super rad. I want to go back to El Paso. I want to like get this COVID back underway and like fuck, you know, like shit.
Right.
That's where I'm.
Beautifully said. Hell
Yes.
yeah.
Fuck, shit, you know?
Well, yeah, dude, for sure. Thank you for joining the podcast today. We really do appreciate it. Hey,
mic check.
He cracked a fucking Lone Star. Good shit, Mr. Jules. But definitely, dude, you know what I would like is when you're back in, if you come back to EP, I would like to invite you to our studio here so we could do this podcast again, but in person. I think it makes for a very more like genuine like vibe on the pod, and the content is always great when we do it in person. But shout out to you for being on the podcast today. Thank you for that. Like we said, give him another fucking triple horn, Misa. So thank you for joining us from Austin, Texas today. Shout out to all the Austinites that fuck with us. Thank you guys. Everybody who listens, thank you. With all that being said, Conversing with Chris and Misa, the podcast, episode number 65. Like and subscribe, YouTube. You guys already know. I've said it a million times. With all that being said, guys, we are...